Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and we're back with one of our journal making series. Now, I had plans to do another cover or maybe talk about how to stitch in differently or recycle books in this one. However, I did have a comment come in after the last one, and I thought, you know what, that's a really good question. I didn't want to write the answer out because it would have been too long. And I thought maybe it's something we could all benefit from. So this one, I'm not going to mention the young lady's last name, but her name is Deb. Deb, this one's for you. It's on the back of your comment. And one of the things Deb asked about was she's got to make a black and white journal. How I can use it now. I have no idea what size this journal is, whether it's a junk journal, whether it's a travel journal, whether it's a keepsake, but I have no idea what this journal is about. So I went, right, let's just do generic ideas and see what I can come up. And I thought one of the first things to ask yourself, if your colour scheme is black and white, the question is, how black is black and how white is white? And for me, that question was, okay, if I grab a page of text, the page is probably not going to be white, but it's not going to be coloured either. It's going to be slightly off-white. So it could be, this is the colour. Now, do I accept this as white or do I not accept it as white? So that's a question you have to ask yourself. Is everything going to be so strict that it just has to be pure white and pure black? Which then brings in another question. Is grey part of this? Because if I've got card offcuts like this, to me these fall into monochrome. I believe it's monochrome, really bad if I got that word wrong, but this could sit quite nicely in a black and white journal because this colour is made up of black and white mixed together. So how strict are you with your way of thinking? Now, I really did push the boat out on a couple of these. Like, I found this napkin. Now, this napkin is black, white, pink and blue. However, for me, personally, this would sit perfectly in a black and white journal because it's on a black background and there is white within it. And I think it bears asking the question, what are the parameters you're setting for yourself? And if you're being too strict with those parameters, is it going to be possible to create the pages in the first place? So I'm going to work my way through, pull a few things in. We're going to create a few things as we go along, and I'm going to talk about things, and I'm going to limit this video. I don't want any more than an hour, so we'll see what we can do, and I'm going to go from everything from the absolute obvious to things that may not be as obvious to anyone. So, right, let's start. The easiest bit to deal with is obviously black on white. So let's just take an A4 sheet here and actually just make it into a page for a journal. So the easiest thing I can think of, let's get a bit of this underneath it because I don't want it to be messed up. Easiest thing for me is rubber stamping. So I've just taken this regular rubber stamp. This one's not mounted, so I'm just going to put a bit of glue stick on the back. You've seen me do that before. If I haven't got a sticky rubber stamp, I usually put a bit of glue stick on the back and just stick it down, and I do that because the glue stick is water soluble, therefore I can just wash it off afterwards. I'm going to use some archival because when I'm creating this I don't actually know what the journal's for, so I don't know whether someone's going to be sketching in it, doing watercolours in it, what they're going to do. So it's one of those things that I'm going to go in with black and I'm actually just adding detail. Now I'm using black here purely because it's a black and white journal. If you were doing other colour schemes, then obviously you could do other colour schemes that you wanted to use. Right, pop that on there. Press that down a bit to let it think about itself. So stamping is one of the easiest ways that I know of to add detail to pages. So I don't know what's going on with the journal. I don't know how much is going on here. But there you go. So all I've done now is that is actually, in my opinion, a finished page. Easy done. The other thing you can do, which I like to do, let's just take that off there, is I will use script stamps. So let me pull in a script stamp. So this is a Tim Holtz, I believe it's called Script. In fact, I think it actually is called Script. And what I like to do here is I would add script, let's put it the right way up, say in a corner, but what I tend to do is I tend to mask off areas. So I know that, there you go, so if I just tear this down, and then I lay that on my book, on my page, and then I come in with my stamping block again. Now I tend to put ink to stamp, not the other way around, but there's no right and there's no wrong. It's completely whatever you wish to do. So this is just a trick I like to do to get myself an interesting edge. I would if I didn't drop the thing. Right. Lay that on there. Now what's happened is, I think I've skewed that a little. It's probably not totally horizontal. You can forgive me. I'm trying to do this without looking through a camera, which is directly up there, and I'm looking at an angle. So I've added this piece of paper here so that when I take it away, I've got an interesting edge. Okay, and it's just basically, it's called masking. So I'm masking off this to put text in there. And what that means, it's not going to encroach on the page. And it doesn't look like I've got a stamp and just gone stamp, stamp, stamp. I've got all the squared edges of the stamp itself. So that's another thing I like to do. So let's call those 2 pages are done. So I'll pop those up there. We might review them all a little later on. Let's pop that out of the way and that out of the way. Another thing I like to do, and I'm sticking with stamping for a couple of seconds here, but it is just, stamping is probably one of the easiest ways to take blank pages and turn them into something. So again, I've got myself a page here, and now I'm going to come in and I just want to add a little tiny bit of detail. For this, I've got some stitching stamps. Now I'm going to hold that there because I'm going to read it to you anyway, but the Red Rabbit rubber stamps are from Stamperia. The code is WTKCC96, and they're these ones. And then the clear stamps, which are the stitching ones here, yeah, they're this design here, the black design you see here. They're clear stamps by Gabriel Poloco, line stitch stamps, sold through 49 and Market originally, which I believe are on Etsy. I've had these stamps for absolutely ever, so that's why someone kindly sent me the details, because I was struggling to find out where I got them from when someone asked me. So I'm just going to pull out, let's take that one. I obviously use this one a lot because I like it. So I'm just going to pick that up with my stamp. Now what I'm doing here is every page I presume is going to be written on, drawn on, something is going to happen on that page. So I don't want to have too much on a page that's going to be distracting. So just something like a little line of stitching down the edge of a page is just enough to give it a bit of character. And to be honest with you, what I would probably do in this instance is I would open the page up, and then I'll probably put a piece that runs across so that it would come out on both sides of the signature. So see, just really simple idea. So that's finished that page off. I could then, someone could write, I don't know whether the person's going to put ephemera on this page, don't know if there's going to be a belly band, a tuck spot. Even here, that's just enough to break the page, just enough to make the page have a little bit of interest. Right, let's get the black ink out the way, put my rubber stamp back where it comes from, because I don't know about you, but I tend to put things down and I don't put them by, and then I have no idea where I put them, and then before we know it, there's a big mess and I can't find anything. So that's just a quick story of my life. So let's see, move that over there, over there, over there. So anyway, so we've now got a couple of options for things that are just really quick finishes. We'll go on to some black pages in a second or two. Now, when I was going through my scraps of stuff, I found things like this too. Just little nods to stuff. So say we're coming in here, I could add this to a page quite easily, and it would just be that little something. I probably wouldn't even leave it that big actually. Let's pull in a ruler and just see if I can tear that down a little bit. So I would just, it doesn't take much to alter a page from being a blank page to a page with interest on it. Now I'm just using a regular ruler here. You could use a tear ruler. You could even cut these if you so chose. I just tend to tear things. So if I take that, and I'm just going to take regular glue stick. I'm going to come in and add a little bit of glue stick to that. I could have gone around the edges and distressed this in black as well. So I'll pop that up there. So there you go, I've just finished another page. I've just got a nice little piece of something on there that just gives it a bit of interest. Now if I wanted, let me see if I can find one for you. There you go. So say I get myself a fine marker. If I wanted to add a little bit of interest over the top of this, I could just come in. Don't just go draw very well because I think I've got ink on the glue on the page. Or is this a pen that's not wanting to play nicely? There you go. Just by putting a couple of double lines around it. It doesn't like to draw over the glue. Sorry guys, I've got a bit of glue on the page. So as you can see, just a little bit of something. It gives it that rustic feel to it. That's a bit better. The glue must have dried by now. So it just gives it something in the top right hand corner. It's a piece of interest. So therefore, we've finished another double journal page. That's just enough. It doesn't need a huge amount. So let's just add that one to that one and put that to one side. Now, when it comes to something like a detail like this, now granted, this is Anglesey. Anglesey is part of Wales, which is where I live. Now let's take that out of the way. So let's address something about a black page then. So I have a black page. Black pages can be quite daunting, but don't forget, when you've got a black page, you can write on it with a white gel pen, and that looks absolutely fabulous if that's done as well. So if you're giving someone a black and white journal, I would always suggest that if you're giving someone that sort of journal, accompany it with maybe a pen in each colour. So maybe give the recipient a white gel pen and a black gel pen, so that when they come to actually write in the journal, you've already supplied them with an idea of how to do it. So here I am, I've just taken this one piece of map here. Again, kind of come in with a bit of a glue stick on it. Now, I could be using this to make a pocket. I could use this to just be a background. I could tear then map into a different shape maybe. But just really quickly, I've now added something of interest to this page. And the black will enhance it, therefore it gives it a nice outline. Let me just get a bit of a scraper just to smooth that down. So as you can see, we've just really tickled that up. Now we've got a different member of detail on there. So the black will add a really dramatic feel to stuff. Now, I'll start that corner down. I missed the corner. Excuse me 1 minute. I thought I did that a bit quick. Now, I've got another image here I found that was in a book. Remember, things can go across the central divide, remembering that one will be on one side and one on the other. So I think I can fold this almost in half, to be honest. Where am I up to? Almost halfway down. I'm going to come in and I'm going to fold that and actually stick that across the middle there. That will be another way for me to add 2 pages of decor instead of 1. There you go. Let's get that stuck down. There you go. Let's pop that in the middle there. Make sure I've got that in the crease, which I have. Smooth that down, smooth that down. So these are just basic ideas, guys. These are as simple as I can get it to start this conversation. Now, when you do use glue on a page, it is likely to curl. I never worry about that because once I've actually got the journal done, the weight of all the signature pages together will flatten it out anyway. So therefore, I've got that's decorated. This, if this was next to this, how cute would that look? It's all about finding elements. Let's put that one to one side. So let's carry on with our exploration of what we've got on my table over here. Okay, ruffles. Now, this is a really good case of what do you class as black and white. Now, to me, that's a black and grey ruffle, but I think that's acceptable because to me, you've got black and white make grey. This is where I'd make an exception. This is where I go, yes, that's another element. So if I then bring in, now I can do this on black or white paper, doesn't really matter. Now I do know some people who sew their ruffles directly onto the edges of their page. I tend not to do that. And the reason I tend not to do that is the liner perforations of the stitching can weaken the edge of the page. So I like to actually sew my ruffles and then glue my ruffles on. So just smooth it out. So if I have one piece for there, nice bit of a ruffle, let's cut this other piece to size. It's about by there. Where's the scissors gone? I had the scissors 2 seconds ago. There you go, it's a small scissors there. So again, just a really cute little way of adding an element to the edge of a page. So just ruffle, nothing special, just a ruffle. So I would have to use Fabri-Tac for that though. So let's get my little Fabri-Tac out. Hopefully it's playing nice with me today. Now I tend to put the Fabri-Tac on the stitching for a couple of reasons. That way I know that the ruffle will be able to move if it's moved around, but the stitching is all held in place. And also that means that any of the knots or stitching will never come undone if it's all glued down. Try to pick this up without dropping it in the wrong place. I also like to put my ruffles so that they extend over the page slightly, as you can see there. So then that means it will actually extend out past the edge of my overall signature. Set that one to one side, and as we're showing what each option would look like, let's put one on the white as well. Now obviously you can put tabs on the sides of pages, you can do clips and clamps and all those little things. You could go in with little bits of satin ribbon. So I'm trying to use a damp cloth now instead of using baby wipes so much, because I'm trying to do my little bit for the planet, and I do know that I use far too many baby wipes, so I'm trying to use a damp cloth nowadays. So there you go. So that will just give you, that again is another page. So let's put that up there because I think we'll revisit those in a second. Where to put the lid to the Fabri-Tac. There you go. So we've got some pages on the go there. Now let's look at some of the other things I've drawn in to work with. Right, there are a few obvious ones to me, and one of them is definitely washi tape. Now, word of warning, I would say, if it is a warning, I would use black and white washi tape or black washi tape on a white page. If you use it on a black page, the nature of washi tape is that it's really quite transparent, and you'll find if you've got it on a black page, it's just not going to show through. It's going to be very, very lacking in visibility, should we say. So I'm just pop that down there. Let's create another one of those. Let's move that out of my way so I don't get sticky all over the place. So I would say when I'm doing something like this, when I'm using washi, you need to remember, does it have an orientation? Like this has an orientation, this doesn't have an orientation. So that could be an up and down piece or a side piece. Something like this, thin design, I could put it down the edge of the page. I could put it top or bottom. This one, a really dramatic effect. Again, squares, can just add them. It's a tiny little bit of detail. Music, I tend to do music horizontally, although there are times I've done it vertically, I must admit. So let's move the scraper out the way a second. So I'm going to take some of this now. I'm going to just take a piece of this washi. I tend to rip it off. I've not a problem with that. Bring my glue stick back in. The problem I do have with washi is I don't trust it. So you will see that I always glue my washi down. Now, because I want to get a nice double hit out of this, I will get my washi ready to go. I will then lay it across the top edge. Hopefully I'm still in shot for all of this. Lay this across the top edge, and then I usually wrap it so it goes round the other edge of the page. That way I haven't got to worry about getting a nice clean cut along the edge. Also, that means that now 2 pages have been done. So that's just a little tiny bit of detail on my page, glue all over the place, and that's just added a little something. And likewise, if I wanted to come with something, let's do the butterfly one because I like the butterfly one. All of my washi tapes, guys, are just collected over time. When I see a washi tape wherever I'm shopping at the time, I tend to buy washi tape because it's inexpensive. It seems to last for absolute ever. I will buy it when I'm in a craft store. I will buy it on Etsy. I'll buy it on, well, pretty much anywhere you can buy stationery supplies. If I see a washi tape I really like, I will buy it. Now, just to show you there is a difference, if I didn't want to wrap that around the corner, I can just wait till I can see through it, because that's the joy of washi tape. Come in and just snip it off with a pair of scissors. Again, I've put glue onto it because I don't trust it. Washi tape is meant to be a removable tape, so therefore I don't want it removing from the work I'm working on. Let's put that one to one side. So there you go. So we've tickled that one up. It looks slightly different. I'm liking that on that page as well. Let's think about something for over here now. Now, I was looking through boxes of stuff, and I did find this, and this is, oh good grief, I'm going to forget the name of this now. Parchment. It's parchment. So this was just, I have no idea where it came from, but I found it. I didn't even know I owned it. And that's what I'm saying. If you've got a project that's got specifics like black and white, go through your stash and find out, because there's always something you forgot you had in the first place. And all you've done is just put it by and you've forgotten about it. And I do that a lot. I tend to forget things. So pop that in that corner. And that could be all that needs. Just sticking that down there. Just need to trim that little bit off the bottom there. So just another little way of adding something. Put that down. So as you can see, so we're building up our pages as we go. Now, while I was going through, I actually was looking for flowers, and I didn't realise that I actually had black and white flowers. Now, these, I believe, are from Tim Holtz. I couldn't tell you what collection because all of my stuff is just all merged into one. I do not know whether they came from a bundle, a pack, or whether they were gifted to me, or whether they were Happy Mail. I couldn't tell you. I just had them. But looking at them, I would say they're Tim Holtz. Now, the joy of these is because they're quite robust and quite well coloured, I could use them in both the black and the white pages. Let's just slide that up there. Now, the question is, where do I want them? Now, with some of these, let's see, which one was I thinking of? I think I was thinking of this one. I could actually attach that down there and attach it on two sides and use it as a tuck. But this is a prime example of what is black and what is white, because these are predominantly grey or even slight sepia colour. But if I put it on a white page, it looks perfectly good with that. If I put it on that page, it looks perfectly good with that. So I would say, yes, you can use stuff like this if it's what you want, if it's within the theme that you're looking at. So let's just pop one or two of these down. And I think the signature I'm trying to put together is coming together reasonably quickly. So let's take this one. And you may note that I do tend to put stuff in the bottom right hand corner of pages or the bottom left hand corner of pages if I've got it this way on, because that's just the way it is. However, you can easily do stuff like that as well, which gives you another option, and it's just utilising it. To be honest with you, I have no idea how long these flowers have been in my ephemeris supplies. and I probably wouldn't use them. They're not really my taste. They're good, they're lovely, they're nice, but they're not the sort of thing I normally use. So that I don't know how long I've had them sat there, but already I've now just tickled up 2 more pages with bits of stuff on. I'm going to leave those to one side as well. The other ones could be used as ephemera, or you could just put them directly in. Sorry, it could be used on ephemera, but they could be used as ephemera as well and just tucked straight in. Always have a look for the little bits because the die cuts don't always cut out thoroughly. There's a couple of other really obvious ones as well. We've got butterflies. These again are, I believe, those might be Tim Holtz. Actually, those are Tim Holtz. These are fussy cut ones from me. And that's another one of those parchment pieces. So let's put that one to one side. So when it comes to black and white butterflies, the question is again, what is acceptable as black? To me, that's a black and white butterfly. I know it's got a little bit of shading on it, but I would accept that. I don't mind that. This one, granted, it's got little red squares on it, little red dots, but I can't imagine you're going to do the entire journal with only black and white on every single page and every single piece of ephemera. I've not managed it myself, but then I've only ever done 2 black and white journals. And this one again, that's pretty much black and white except for the tiny little hint there of colour. So I think for me that's acceptable. Now you may note the butterflies or moths that I've cut out, I cut the antennae off. These ones have antennae on them. So I'm going to use these 2. And I'm going to show you what I would do with them normally. So let's put it on this page. So I'm just going to come in. I'm going to use this one. Bit of a glue book moment over here to the one side. So I like to have my stuff flying into a page or flying across a page. I tend to not have stuff flying out of my... don't have it flying off at an angle. Now, because this one's got no antennae, all I do is I take said sharp fine marker and I will literally just... This marker just doesn't want to work. 1 second. Where's the other one gone? I have a set of these and I use this one all the time. Let's use number 3. That's probably going to do it. So... there you go. I'm just drawing the antenna. I think this one's going in the bin because I keep reaching for it and it just doesn't work. So I'm not going to hold on to it in case because it's just not going to work. So therefore I've just put the antenna on there. That's quite cute. It's finished. So let's put this one in. And actually let's put this down here. So I'm coming in from the bottom corner on this one. Again, a bit of a glue moment. Now, when it comes to the antennae on this one, the antennae on butterflies and moths are usually, absolutely, this is just a usual thing. I can't guarantee it because I'm not an entomologist or whatever it is. They're normally black or dark brown. So your question will be, why bother drawing them in at all? I'm going to draw them so that if the book is turned in any way, you will be able to see that there is something there. Now, I'll hold this up to you in a second. I doubt whether you're going to see it. I'm going to hold it up anyway. But if I move the page, you might see the lines where it was drawn. So for me, I'm like, the person who's created this page has actually taken the effort to put the antennae in. So, or antlers, as my friend Gail would call them. So, right, so we're moving along here. So, have I done that one down? So I've got a little stockpile of things. Those are not dry yet. So I'm going to put these to one side so I don't keep picking them up thinking they're dry. So we've got some more pages done here. Let's see, what else do I want to look at? Okay, just something that you could use within the journal, not necessarily on a journal page, is, don't forget, there are 2 complete sets of numbers in a pack of cards, and there's a joker. These are black and white. I could use that as a corner element, as a tuck spot. I could take this, I could fold it over and actually have it as a tab. I could use these as journal cards. The only thing is, if they've got a coloured back, you just need to reback them. I would say also is you can get shiny coated playing cards and you can get matte playing cards. Try to steer away from the shiny ones, because sometimes if you're using a shiny one, things don't stick on them very well. If I was going to put something on here, I'd probably put a layer of clear gesso or white gesso on that first, and then cover it up with a bit of writing paper. Another thing that you can utilize, let's just move those to one side, is I like to use stickers. Now, I found these washi stickers in my stash. Again, they're just white washi stickers. So if I come in, it would obviously be on a white one that I would use it, not a black one. There are some limitations as to what you can do with a black page. Some limitations as to what I can do with a sticker as well. Notoriously bad at not getting the backs off. And I have thanked so many of you for all your hints and tips about use this tool, use that tool. They just don't work for me. It's user error. I know it's user error. So therefore, I've just made that an individual page. So that one I'm going to call finished. So now, when it comes to stuff like this, you will find they will stand out. But for me, they look just wrong. It's a personal choice. I don't like that white line around it, so I tend to not use these on black pages. Let's put that one to one side. But as you've just seen, they will bring a white page to life quite easily. Let's lay that down there. Stick that across there. So if I just come in just with, let's do this one. I like this one. Again, these stickers will have come from Etsy. If you're looking for washi stickers, just literally put washi stickers into the search bar and you will find them. Probably not the straightest sticker I've ever stuck down. You get the idea, you know where I'm coming from. Stuff like this is really easy. It'll depend on the theme that you're using, which ones you actually end up using. Let's put those to one side. Another thing that is quite a cute thing you can use is feather stickers, because sometimes you have them and you go, what would I use them for? I thought I had a white one somewhere, I've lost it. But things like this just really, it's just those little elements at the corner of a page. So if I come in, let's take, oh, that was a clever move. If I take that off there, if I just put that just in that corner, I've decorated the page. And remember, we're only creating the signatures at the moment. We don't want masses of decoration, because later on, granted, this is the wrong thing to show you, because obviously we're trying to do a black and white one. Just trying to grab some ephemera for myself. So if I wanted to come in and then create a tuck spot or a journal card or a flip out, I can add other elements. Because if you start putting stuff on a page, you only need a little tiny thing to decorate the page in the first place. Now, granted, no comments, please. I know those weren't black and white. I was just grabbing whatever was to hand. So things like just a little feather in the corner is just enough to decorate something up. Right, moving on again. Now, earlier on, I did pull in this. So, say I wanted a belly band. So let's say I'm going to put a belly band on here. I quite like that. That'd be even nicer if I had it the right way up. So I can just use a piece of this. Where's that scissors gone? I should really be using my guillotine, but I'm notoriously bad for not being able to cut a straight line. I blame my varifocals. I always blame my varifocals. And I've got reason to blame my varifocals, because it's them! So right, I'm going to have to cut it differently. Sorry guys, struggling a bit because I didn't know what I was going to do in this video other than just go for it. I didn't know what equipment I needed to pull out, so I didn't pull my guillotine out. And to get to my guillotine, I've got to move a table of stuff which everything is on. So Right, this is just a bit of craft card from a craft pad. So hence I've got that. Now this would work equally as well on the black page or equally as well on a white page. Your choice entirely. I would say just bring in some art glitter glue. Hopefully my art glitter glue is playing nice today. Yes, it is. A little bit of art glitter glue at the top. A little bit of art glitter glue at the bottom. Stick that down there. All the way to top. Get a bit of a burnish just to let it settle itself down. Now I've immediately then put in a belly band, so the belly band is ready to go. So that's another one done. Right, let's look at how we're doing black and white. Actually, I need to do a white one. I've just done a black one. So using the same thought process, let's put that on there. Let's create another page. So I've got offcuts here. So let's take one of those. Let's put it on that page. So if I do that, I got a craft punch near me. I don't have a circle punch near me. I could actually just cut a notch out of there. So let me just see if I can do this without a craft punch. The way I used to do it before I owned a craft punch. Basically, just draw around something. The lid of my glue. See if I can just quickly cut this out without making an absolute mess of it. Not bad. There you go. I'd accept that. So then I can come in and I could put that on a page. I could put it down, up. I would probably put it in the middle, and that way I've got a tuck spot, but I've also got room. I could finish it off with washi. I could put a ruffle. I could add other elements to it. I might even stencil on the page. So let's just put this in place. Now, of course, you use whatever glue that you normally use. Actually, I'm going to put it down there. I've decided, because I would probably decorate the top there somewhere. Burnish that down so it's all in place. Hold that for a second. So again, craft card, a really good one. Usually, if you look at a craft card pack, there is usually one in there that is usually quite bland and you can turn into black or white. Let's leave that to one side, take that out of the way. So motoring along as we did before. So again, looking at stuff. Now, that's that doing there, and I don't need that there. So let's just sit that one to one side. Now, if I've got black and white book pages, if this is a junk journal, I can quite easily just fold my page in half, and then that slots into my journal, and it's another page and it's still black and white. So if you're thinking junk journal, don't forget, look around at what you've got. You may already have stuff that you can just use. So those are extra pages in the signature. Now they're black and white, that's fine, I can accept those. I did say about using white text. Don't forget, white isn't always white, but I would probably use this more on my ephemera than I would on decorating my pages, but it doesn't mean you couldn't use a strip of this to create maybe sort of a cluster effect. So put that to one side just in case I come back to that idea. Right. Sorry, I had a bit of a moment. So I've got a flower punch. Okay, I would say that's cross cut. I think it's cross cut. So that's just it's a 1 inch plus flower. It gives you this little flower effect. So it just gives you little tiny flowers. And all I did was I went down the edge of my page and I punched holes. Now the reason I left them on the edge is because then if I have a white page next to a black page, I've got that effect. However, if I want to do something that's a little more interesting in another way, I could take those same white flowers for another section of the journal, and you can usually buy these little flowers anywhere. So let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, meant to be. So now if I'm doing this effect for a signature, these little flowers have little pearls on them. I tend to take the little pearls off. And I do that because otherwise I've got lumps and bumps and I'm trying to write over them. Let's just pull them off. They come off really easy. So sometimes they fall off naturally anyway. So I would come in and I would probably use a little bit of art glitter glue on this one just to pop these in place. Now please do remember to take a little more time than I'm doing. I'm speed demming here because I want to try and see how much I can get sorted out within about an hour for ideas and inspiration for you guys, and especially for Deb. Hope you're doing okay, Deb. Hopefully this is sparking some ideas for you. Now you don't have to line them up down the side of the page like I'm doing. That's just me being me. So I just want to put 4 down there. That one is an idea for there. So just going to come in, put a little bit of there, just pop that over the top of it, and therefore this gives you a little more visual texture. And what's it do? It puts white on black on white. So that gives you a really nice little look down the side of the page. So that one. Let's move you to one side. So there you go. Oh, in the center would be a good idea. So therefore I've now decorated the side of that page and we've got a tuck spot in there. And we've got this one that overlaps one of the whiter pages. So we know that whichever way up I put it, I've got flowers showing. So that's another one. Let's put top on my glue. So I'm just not going to let that dry out on me. There you go. Now let's see what else I've got over here. Now, I'm not going to stick these down, but something, don't forget guys, die cuts. If you've got a die cutting machine, I mean, these happen to be numbers. I could cut out shapes. I could cut out flowers. Whatever you've got as far as dies go, have a look. You can always cut any colour you want out of them. Maybe there's special dates you want to put on the pages. Cut them out with your die machine and stick those on there instead. Put those to one side. Another thing is, these are cloakroom tickets. Now, cloakroom tickets, to me, are black and white. I don't mind that they've got grey on them. So if I want some of these, I can just use these and I could use them in any way I want. I could line them up. I could put them down. Another nice little thing to do with these sort of things is fold them in half. And then you can actually attach that to the side of a page. And that gives you a page tab. Okay, actually, let's do that. We've got one of those ripped off and ready to go. Let's stick a page tab on. So just simple ideas, guys. It's the big part is going to be creating the ephemera. You don't need to worry about the pages to start with. I like to make sure my pages are pretty. I like to make sure they've got some interest to them. Let's just press that down. So there you go. I've now got a tab on the edge of the page. So, and I could have gone in and I could have put these in corners. I could have lined them up. Actually, let's take one of them off. We might use one of those in a second anyway. So, cloakroom tickets, raffle tickets, bus tickets, whatever tickets you've got to hand. Don't forget, a lot of them are in black and white purely because the manufacturers of tickets will produce them en masse and they don't want to actually spend a lot of money on colour printing. So, they're usually black and white. Okay, right, coming in again. This was just off a bit of paper bag off, what try I say? It had a gift in it, so let's just use that. So have I got, actually let's put it on there, should we? So, actually no, I want it on black, on white. Sorry, being a bit indecisive. Trying to think as I talk, as I film. That's just the way it is. So, right, so I've got this. Let's make a little bit of an element, shall we? So just tear this down a bit. Just trying to add little bits of interest to the page. don't know why I had to take that little piece off. Right, let's move this back over to my table. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to use just some glue stick to stick that one down. It's only a paper bag. It's going to stick quite well with that. Put that in there, give it a bit of a smooth down. I'm going to take a bit of that book page because we said we didn't know whether we would use this book page as a decorative element in itself, but I think it will make a nice piece of interest behind this cluster. I think it needs to be a little bit narrower than that. So let's put that to one side. Again, I'm just going to stick that down. I am not distressing the edges of anything here, although if you know your journal would benefit from distressing, then by all means. I mean, you could use, I think this black soot, I think that's one of the Tim Holtz ones. I'm going to use this ticket as well. Stick that in there. And then I think we're going to come in with the little flowers that I had left over from before. Now I'm tending to keep things really flat because I actually want everything in my journal to be relatively flat so that I don't end up with lumpy bumpies all the way through it. So if I stick that on there. Now obviously I'd like a centre in my flower. So for me, the obvious thing would be, or the obvious thing might be, oh, put a gem in the middle or a button or a pearl. That will give me more lumps and bumps. So what I'm going to do is, where's that one gone? I've got another permanent marker. I'm just going to come in and I'm going to draw in a little tiny centre in it. And that's finished off. So again, I've just got a really interesting little element on that page. Another thing we'll look at as we go along. So where am I up to? So we've done that one, done that one, done that one, done that one. As far as ephemera goes, I found this postcard. Okay, it just says photos. It could be that this just becomes something that actually either slips into, where's our belly band gone? I've lost the belly band. Where did I put the belly band, guys? Which one was it on? Oh, there you go. So something like that could just slide in there. And what I would probably do is I would actually just stick something over the top of the word photos, and actually do something that you're thinking of doing. So that's another thing you do. Just look at postcards. A lot of the cafes you go into will have free postcards in them. I know when I lived in Sydney, Australia, one of the big advertising things was in cafeterias. You went for a coffee and there was racks of free postcards because they were just advertising. Whenever you're in there, pick up a few. Even if you don't like the front of it, you can always collage over it. So there you go. So just a postcard, stick it in there, and that's finished that one off as well. What's on this one? This is all tabs and stuff. I'll probably do something on that. That's got that. Okay, moving right along. Okay, envelopes are normally white. Don't forget, you can tuck an envelope into a signature, and that's another thing you can have. You could stamp this up, you could washi it, you could put anything you want in it. So just remember, that's another good element for a black and white journal. So moving right along here. Something else that's interesting. This is wallpaper from a wallpaper sample pack. Now, don't forget, if you're adding interest to stuff, just add texture. I mean, you could come in quite easily and add texture onto one of these pages. So, I'm trying to think which one I would like or where I would like it. I'm tempting to go for the corner thing. If I go for the corner thing, I'd probably want it. Actually, let's put it on this one. Now, wallpaper is a little more robust, but I wouldn't say that it's absolutely super strong. Why does this not look straight? Maybe I just didn't cut it straight at some point in its life. Let me just get a scissors. Bit of an old Tim Holtz snip on this one, I feel. So yes, wallpaper is meant to be stuck to something. So therefore, yes, it is a little bit robust, but it's not hugely robust. So I think if I was going to use wallpaper, I would probably back it with another piece of card before I put it on there. But for this purpose, it doesn't look straight down there either. Let me have a moment. I'm having a moment with straight edges today, guys. I might just snip that off down there. I'll get that right. So I know that's a straight edge because it's a folded piece of paper. Whatever it is, that's going to be better than what it was. So again, I'm going to use a bit of art glitter glue in this one. And did I want it on there? No, I wanted it on there, didn't I? Again, it's just another tuck spot. It's also a background for maybe another cluster, another element, an image. Also, don't forget, Tim Holtz has paper dolls. And they are predominantly black and white, although there are one or two that I would swear are more sepia than black and white. So don't forget you can add those. I don't know whether I can reach mine at the moment. Give me a second, see if I can lean over to my set of drawers. There you go. Oh, a set of kids ready for Halloween. I don't think that's the one I would use. But she's kind of cute. So, see what I mean? You can actually just reinforce that then by putting something like a paper doll on there, and that actually is black and white. So it stays within your criteria. All right, now put this one on. Now I'm going to have a look at time because I need to know where I'm at time-wise on this one. Where am I up to? Right, we're up to 52 minutes, so I'm going to quickly talk my way through the other ideas I had, because I had quite a few more than we've actually got through. So let's put that to one side. That can sit over there. That is pretty much done. That can just stay over there as well. So a few other things that I thought about was, you've already seen the napkin. I would use this napkin to actually go onto a white background. I also have tissue paper here. This is just regular gift wrap tissue paper. I could add this to a white page quite easily. I could use that on there and it would just give a nice element on there. I could use it on black and it would show up as sort of grey, but to be honest with you, that's white enough for me. I can live with that. I wouldn't have a problem with that whatsoever. So look at the gift wrap section. I also have a black and white version of gift wrap. Now this one I think would work okay on white. So if I pick that up. If I slide white behind it, it makes it really white, which is perfect for an element I could use. However, I put it on black. To me, it looks just a bit dirty. But again, up to you entirely. Also, don't forget, when you're thinking about making ephemera, you could make collage masterboards out of all of these different elements you're using to decorate the pages, and then cut them up to make tags or cards or tuck spots or anything. Another thing I came across too is Tim Holtz has the tissue paper that he's got, and it's really decorative. I love this stuff. So you could stick that onto a page and immediately it's black and white and it's got interest on it and it's added character. A lot of these things will really depend on what the style of your journal is. Another thing I pulled out that I would definitely use is graph paper. Now graph paper is usually the same size as pages, well, it is in this country anyway. I don't mind that it's slightly grey, because as we already discussed, I'm okay with grey in a black and white journal. Oops, I'm not okay with folding the pages like that though. So that's another couple of pages in there. So I hope that helped. I hope to help Deb anyway. And I hope it inspires some ideas for the rest of you. What I would say is, seriously, if you're creating a journal with quite strict criteria, I would say the first thing I do whenever I have something that's a bit of a challenge, like I only want a red and purple journal or something, I will go through every drawer, every section of my craft room, and I will pull anything that is the right colour. Even if I don't think I'm going to use it, I will pull everything into the same place. Even bits of fabric and lace and ribbon, everything into one area. And then when that area is there, that's the one area I then create everything from. So let's have a little bit of a play and put this signature together, and then we'll flick through it and actually see what it looks like when it's done. So as you can see, I am literally just popping stuff together here, and then we'll flick through the, I'll put that on the black page, and we'll flick through the signature and see how did it end up looking. I know I'm going to lose that in a minute. Let's put that one in there. I don't know why I'm selecting the things I'm selecting, guys. I'm just selecting stuff. So let's put that one in there. That means I can, where's that envelope gone? Have my envelope can go in there. I quite like the fact that I've got a smaller piece in the middle of there. Go into that one. Let's go in the opposite direction. Let's put one of these here. Into that, into that, into that. Right, tap that down. Now, I don't know how many elements I've actually put in here. Oh, I haven't put the ruffles in. That's what's missing. Yay! I knew I had something else somewhere. Right, I knew I had pages. Bear with me. I just need to pop back through. I had areas that I could put ruffle pages in. I knew I'd done more than that. Why didn't you tell me? Or did you? Was I ignoring you again? I apologise. Right. So there you go. So I've put the ruffles in now. That's made it a lot better. So, okay, so let's start again. So we've got just decorative elements on pages. And this is pretty much what I would call the start of a junk journal. Because once I've got this sewn into the journal cover, I could then come in and work on it. I wasn't stuck that normally, was it? No, there you go. So I could then go in and I could start decorating and working on it, adding elements and photographs and images. See, that little cluster's cute, and it's relatively flat. It's not going to add bulk to the journal. Again, we've got the Tim Holtz, we've got my fussy cutting butterflies, just washi stickers here and there. I like graph paper. I do like a variety of papers. You could use music paper in this, remember, because a lot of music paper is actually black and white. This was that map I just backed onto a black page, so it gave me a bit of a framed element. There's that swan coming across the envelope. I do like the ruffle on the black. I know I like it on the white as well. Another one of the junk journal pages. So as you can see, we've just gone in and we've just made the signature interesting. I find that a lot of junk journalers, and I'm guilty of this as ever, is we get carried away decorating our pages, and then we forget the person who's going to receive it. Actually, I love that little feather there. Actually, they're going to need to write in it. And if you filled all the space up with all of your decorating, then you know what? They've got nowhere to write. That again would be a little tuck spot, stick something in there. Here's those, actually I quite like that. So flowers are on the graph paper, but then the flowers are on the white page. So just think outside the box, guys. I like the tear edge on that one. Again, that's just little elements. It's just putting stuff together. I do like that one when you do a little frame around stuff and a little bit of stitching on the back. So that would be a very acceptable start to a signature for me. I mean, if this was a one signature journal that could be sewn into a signature, then I would go in and I would decorate the pages a little more. Maybe once they're all in a position, I go, you know what, maybe this page needs a bit of text on it. Maybe this needs tissue or napkin on, or maybe that needs a bit of napkin on it. I would look through then, like, I mean, it's very rare I put an envelope in that's just a white envelope. I would probably come in and put a little decoration on that one just to make it a focal point, and then tuck a nice journal card in there. So there you go, guys. A little bit of an unusual, but this one, this whole playlist is meant to be aimed at those who are just starting out on their journey. So thinking simple, thinking ideas and inspiration is what this video was about. It wasn't about finesse. It was not about high-end quality decorating. It was about thinking and inspiring as to how can I change blank pages into something else, and when is black black and when is white white. And it's finding what the parameters you're setting on something for yourself is. So that's that done. And this is me done. I'm Ceri the Crafter. So until next time, Ceri the Crafter, saying goodbye. Bye-bye now.